How to choose the right web hosting company. Web hosting is a competitive industry, and it's really not surprising considering the fact that there are billions of websites out there and that all need to be hosted somewhere. In this presentation, you're going to learn how you can choose the right web hosting company for your website. Many web hosting companies have large budgets for advertising. You'd often see the same companies cropping up in many different places on the internet. However, just because they're big and popular doesn't automatically mean they're the best host. When it comes to web hosting, you often get what you pay for. So here are some points you need to consider to find the best hosting company. Number 1. Know your website needs. When you're just starting out, you don't need to go for the most expensive plan just because you can afford it. That's just wasteful and frankly not a good investment. You should have an idea of the kind of content you'll publish and an estimate of your monthly traffic. Then look for the right package that meets your needs. Number 2. Compare different packages. Depending on your needs, some basic packages may actually be perfect for you. However, different web hosts bundle different services into their packages. Some offer plenty of useful freebies which would be considered add-ons in other companies. Number 3. Read user reviews. Reviews from people who have used the service are extremely helpful. It will help you get an idea of the kind of service you'll be receiving as well. There are plenty of websites that offer unbiased reviews of various web hosts. Just a word of caution though, many of these reviewers do get a commission when you buy something through their affiliate links, so some might not be as unbiased as you think. Number 4. Understand their terms. What's the service level agreement or uptime guarantee? Their money-back guarantee, their contract terms. Knowing all these may mean the difference between a good experience and a bad experience. If you don't want to read the fine print, then do check out reviews or ask the web host directly. Number 5. Don't get hung up on the price. Some companies offer rock-bottom prices that make many people think signing up is a no-brainer. However, when they start experiencing problems, they realize they're not getting the support they need. Or they don't realize the renewal price will be 2 times or 3 times higher than their initial package. 6 secrets to speed up your WordPress website. WordPress is the most popular content management system, CMS, in the world. In fact, 1/3 of all websites in the world run on WordPress. However, not many people know how to optimize their WordPress sites to make it load faster. If this sounds like you, then don't worry. In this presentation, you're going to learn the top 6 secrets to speed up your WordPress website. Number 1. Update WordPress and your plugins regularly. WordPress gets frequently updated thanks to its global community of developers who work together to fix bugs, add new features, and so much more. When you don't update your version of WordPress and your plugins, then you're leaving your site vulnerable to possible attacks. Over time, you'll notice your site will start performing sluggishly too. Number 2. Choose a good host. Good hosting is a necessary investment for your website's success. The cheapest hosting plan is good for absolute beginners who don't expect tons of people visiting their site. However, once your site gains traction and more people visit it, then you need to upgrade your hosting as well. Number 3. Use a well-coded theme. There are plenty of great-looking WordPress themes. However, as you probably already know, not all themes are created equal. Some theme developers add plenty of features to their themes without realizing it's become slow and bloated. Number 4. Optimize your images. If you're uploading large images to your site, then you're contributing to your site's slower loading times. There's really no point in uploading a 5 megabyte file if a 500 kilobyte version looks exactly the same. There are plenty of image optimizing tools out there that reduce image file sizes drastically without any visible differences between the unoptimized and optimized images. Number 5. Use a content delivery network. Content delivery networks help greatly with improving your page loading times. Your website files will be delivered from a server location closest to where your website visitor is located. This means less time is needed to load your site's files, which translates to faster loading times for your site. Number 6. Delete unnecessary plugins. There are thousands of awesome plugins for WordPress. It's one of the reasons why the platform is so popular. You can change its looks, functionality, and so much more just by installing a plugin or 2. The problem is people sometimes get carried away and just install plugin after plugin. Sometimes plugins will conflict with each other, which leads to slower loading times for your website. 4 benefits of using accelerated mobile pages, AMP, for your website. In this presentation, you're going to learn some of the major benefits you're going to get if you use accelerated mobile pages, AMP, for your website. Mobile device use is on the rise, and there's no indication it's going to slow down anytime soon. With more and more people using their mobile devices to access websites on the internet, it's important for your site to have a mobile-friendly version. In fact, it's a must that your site is mobile-friendly. With that said, here are the 4 benefits of using AMP for your website. Number 1. Lightning-fast web pages. AMP pages load almost instantly. This is why it's called accelerated. There's no lengthy waiting period. If you've ever visited an AMP page, you'd know just how blazing fast these pages load. If you haven't, well, you can start by searching for the latest news and current events on your mobile device. AMP articles have a lightning bolt icon. Click it and be amazed by the speed. Number 2. Better user experience. Fast loading pages don't stress out visitors. Quite the opposite, in fact. AMP content is also very easy to read on mobile. Since AMP pages are stripped-down versions of pages you see on a desktop computer, then there are lesser distractions on it. You can consume content without getting bothered by annoying things you usually see on normal web pages on your desktop browser. Number 3. Improved Google rankings. It's no surprise Google loves AMP pages. After all, they led the AMP initiative because they wanted to give people the best experience when they search for information on their mobile phone browsers. So it makes sense they'll be awarding better spots on search results pages to AMP and mobile-friendly sites. Number 4. Increasing conversions. Since AMP pages lead directly to better user experience and engagement, then it is but normal for conversions to increase as well. Of course, not everyone's going to follow your site's call to action, but with more and more people discovering your AMP pages on mobile, then chances are a good percentage will be taking action. Just a word of caution though, since AMP strips down many unnecessary elements of your pages, then you need to be diligent and make sure your AMP pages still contain your calls to action. In this presentation, you're going to learn about the 3 biggest reasons why your website is slow and how you can go about fixing it. Let's begin. Number 1. Bad hosting. There are loads of web hosting companies nowadays, and choosing the best one for your business is not always easy. There may be some big web hosts that come to mind when someone asks you if you know any good hosting companies. But popularity doesn't always translate to speed. To make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck, you need to do some research. If you're subscribed to the cheapest shared hosting plan, then maybe it's time for an upgrade. In the web hosting world, you do get what you pay for. The more expensive the plan, the better the resources allocated to your site. But of course, if you only get a few hundred or a few thousand visitors a day, then it may be overkill to go to the most expensive hosting plan. Analyze your website's needs and choose a plan that will be cost-effective and won't hurt your website loading times. Number 2. Optimized images. Image compression is not something many people bother with. After all, it can get annoying to have to spend some time resizing and optimizing every image you'll upload to your site. However, the harsh truth is, if you want your pages to load quickly, you need to look into optimizing your images. There are a bunch of tools you can choose from, both free and premium. Some even offer batch resizing. If you're in need of a good free tool, then head over to TinyPing, tinyping.com, or PickResize, pickresize.com. Number 3. Code issues. Your website is basically just a bunch of codes put together. When someone visits your site, their browser has to load your site's HTML, style sheets, JavaScript, etc. If any of these codes don't play well with each other, then it can affect your website's speed. Minifying your code is one way to reduce code clutter. It helps you improve your page speed too. Another option is called gzip. It reduces your web page's weight, which leads to faster loading pages. If you're on WordPress, don't go plugin happy and install all cool plugins you find. This only increases the risk of plugins conflicting with each other and eventually causing problems to your site. Excessive white spaces, inline stylings, empty new lines, and unnecessary comments can make the website style sheet grow larger in size. How optimizing your images can help with your site's speed. Humans are visual creatures. and we love browsing or scrolling through beautiful images on websites. However, one thing that can dampen your enthusiasm quickly is when websites load ever so slowly. Chances are that it's the images that's causing all that slowness. Imagine visiting a page with plenty of images on it, and each image is like 5 megabytes or more. Sure, these may be print quality and high-definition photos taken with expensive cameras, but at the end of the day, is it really necessary to upload these large image files to websites? Many people think that the higher the megapixel numbers, the better the image quality. That's simply not true. What is true, however, is that the higher the megapixels, the bigger the resulting image file size. Printing images is not the same as uploading it to the internet. If you want an internet-friendly image, you need to optimize it. Optimizing simply means making sure the image still looks good, but at the same time, it's not going to take forever to load. For web pages, the recommended image size is only 1200 by 800 pixels. The suggested maximum is 2000 pixels. You need to find the right balance between picture quality and file size. To help you understand why image optimization is so important, I need to show you first how websites work. A website is basically a bunch of files which are stored on your web hosting company's server. When someone wants to view your website, their browser will send a request to your web host and ask them to send your files over. When your visitor is able to view your site on your browser, it means that the web host has agreed to the user's request. Now imagine if the web page your website visitor wants to view has plenty of large images on it. It will take quite some time for your web host to serve up your website files, which include all of those large images. However, if the image files have all been optimized, then it takes far less time to send those files over to your user's browser. This translates directly to faster load times for your web page. In this presentation, we're going to uncover the differences between self-hosted WordPress websites and static HTML websites. Stay tuned to find out which type of website is faster. There are many ways you can create your website. While WordPress isn't the only content management system, CMS, it's the most popular. A third of all websites run on the WordPress platform, so you can see just how big and massive the WordPress community is. But are self-hosted WordPress sites faster than static HTML sites? Or is it the other way around? First of all, let's dig into why you would want to choose one over the other. Why use WordPress? WordPress is one of the easiest ways for people to get their own websites. You simply need to buy your domain name, sign up with a web host, and install WordPress on the server. Many host companies have a one-click WordPress install feature, so it's really a beginner-friendly CMS. WordPress is great for all types of websites. There are thousands of themes and plugins you can choose from to transform your site into anything you'd like. There are plugins for practically anything you can think of. If you want to speed up your site, there are plugins for that too. The downside to having all these options, though, is that when you don't know what you're doing, you can easily slow down your WordPress site, which is what usually happens in the real world, webmasters unknowingly slowing down their own sites. Why use static HTML websites? Static HTML sites might not be a good fit for everyone. If you're afraid to touch code, then this might not be for you, and you may be better off sticking with WordPress. The good news is that there are now many HTML builders that you can use, which allow you to build static HTML websites without touching a single line of code. These builders help you save time. Many even include pre-built templates, where you only need to swap out the elements you want to change. So, which is faster? There are pros and cons for each type of technology, but from a strictly technical point of view, static HTML sites are generally faster than WordPress sites. You can make WordPress sites load faster too, but you'd have to be technically adept, so you can tweak it and make it run just as fast as a static HTML site.